Hi, hi Abhishek. I'm good. Sure. So my full name is Priyanshu Upadhyay, and I'm from district Ara, state Bihar. We are four members in our family. My father is retired security guard. My mother is retired nanny. Am I clear now? Give me a second. Am I audible now?
Yeah, better than before.
Okay, cool. So my full name is Priyanshu Upadhyay. I'm from district Ara, Bihar. We are four members in our family. My mother is retired nanny from international private school. My father is retired security guard. My younger sister is following her passion into painting and all. She is currently graduating, and I completed my schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, mostly from different cities. But I completed my 10th standard in from Noida Sector 24 in 2018. After completion of my matriculation certificate, I stepped into the corporate industry. From that moment, like from 2018 to till now, I've been changed from 5 different organizations, worked with different businesses like Premiers Partners, Considerage, Enterprise. Also worked with MSPs, CSPs, and all. I trained few of the CSPs tools in GSW and HCL for the Office 365 applications. Coming on the technologies I've majorly worked on is Exchange Online, security, compliance, and Entra ID. Recently, I just come up to Intune, like just exploring the Intune, not in something like under the organization or doing some organization, some like client stuffs and all, but learning from ourselves for the Intune things. Under the Exchange Online, I had done the migration issues like tenant to tenant migrations and hybrid migration mode. Coming to mail flows, then Outlook in security and compliance, majorly to anti-malware, DLPs, e-discovery, auditing, and retention policies, MRM retention policies, and all. Then in Entra ID, mostly up to the MFAs, SSO, or security defaults and all, like conditional access policies and all. So logs enhancements, these are things I've done in Entra ID. It's all of the technologies I worked in last 5 years. My last organization was Web Synergist, which is it's a kind of they hired for the Infosys itself, but we never worked for the Web Synergy itself. So when I was working under Infosys, I was been acting as a technical lead, handling the Office 365 teams and Exchange Online team. So yeah, that's all about me.
Thank you very much. Your interview would be taken care by Anuj, okay? And what this interview is going to be all about, it's going to be about how much you know about the compliance area. Mm-hmm. Okay, because we are hiring for only compliance LOB right now. Okay, so best of luck. Yeah, Anuj, all yours.
Okay. Okay, Priyanshu, you mentioned that you work on DLP as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you have. So, consider this. I'm an admin of a certain financial firm. I have a specific requirement here, right? I have a data format that includes a PAN number and my account number, right? Usually this data is shared internally between the people, right? I'm worried that this will be shared externally. How do I stop this exfiltration?
Okay, so majorly, if you're worried about that, if data is being shared outside of the organization, we can create a DLP policy itself. And under the DLP policies, there are two shield, like in my sense, they are called shield, but I don't exactly remember the technical terminologies called as SITs and declassifiers. So these two shields basically help you to prevent the data to be complied or being shared to the unauthorized users or outside of the organization. The SIT is basically sensitive information type. So it's a kind of pattern based. Let's suppose you are only focused on Aadhaar and PAN number, which are very classified information, which doesn't need it to be shared outside the organization or to the another user, which is not authorized. You can set the pattern that this data, if this data is being seen in any email or attachment, you need to scan it and you need to delete that particular file or email. So that SIT will, what it will do, it basically scan the pattern that if he sees any keywords related to that particular information, then it will stop the data to be delivered outside the organization or to unauthorized users. But in terms of classifiers, classifiers are basically of two types. One is trained classifiers like pre-trained, and another is custom classifiers. Majorly, before coming on the types, classifiers is a AI/ML based kind of search technology or the prediction technology, you can say AI/ML prediction technology, where you give different scenarios like false positive, false negative, then truly positive, truly negative. So there are different scenarios. Even though in the complicated situation, let's suppose I'm an inside of the organization user and you're the outside, and I want to send the email like PAN number, and if the SIT, what exactly SIT will do, it will see the patterns. But the trainable classifier, if I train him with the complicated situation, let's suppose I'm mentioning the food items and in between that I mentioned the PAN number. So these kind of situation, like complex situation where to figure out that data is being compromised or not, or being it's not following the compliance. So classifier helps to identify those kind of in those scenarios basically. Now coming on types, like one is pre-trained, which is coming from the Microsoft itself, where it's already been trained to some specific type of data and you can apply it. One is custom, where you can give 50 to 100 examples of false positive, negative, truly positive, truly negative data, and accordingly you can train that classifier and that can be applied to the datas and in form of labels. So once you create the
form of labels,
like not exactly labels, when you create the DLP, you need to apply the either the SIT or the classifiers. So that will help you to identify the information. Labels.
Okay, so
yeah.
So, all right. So you're saying we can. So I can see both, right? There is PAN card and there is account both within the out of the box SITs which are available within the total code, right? Now I don't want to use both of them because what I've done while I was running the test, although my format has both PAN number and the account number, but if I put it together, it doesn't really recognize it. So I don't want to use both of them, right? Then in that case, what should I do? I just want to keep it as one, right? One specific SIT. Then in that case, what should I do? And what also I want to know, how should I validate this, that once I create this, would it be working, would it be recognizing the data? So how can I validate that?
In terms of validation, there is a process like once you create the SIT, we get the options of simulation. Like before deploying that SIT, we can simulate by giving some examples, like doing test emails and all. But coming exactly on the question that if you want to make it one and how you can do it, in that case, I'm not exactly sure, but we can do it through the confidentiality levels, like highly, low, and all. So for the same SIT, let's suppose we marked it the minimum, like if any data consists lowest probability of that, if they seize any account number, it will trigger it out. So we can create in the form of confidentiality levels. I'm exactly.
Okay, since you are talking about the confidentiality level there, so when I create a DLP policy, I get that there is instance count 1 to any, and then there is the level of confidence, right? What do you understand by high, medium, and low? How do you identify that? Is there a difference between that?
So yeah, like there are three types of highly, medium, and low. But that exactly like I came across a situation when I was working on DLP cases. From there, I learned this thing that they wanted to stop the like it's a food company, and they wanted that their recipe should not be shared to the another organization. During the simulation, what they figure it out that even though mentioning recipes along with the what the tools they use, it's not triggering. The DLP is not triggering. After working 15 days, 20 days, later on we come up that the confidentiality level is the major portion through which it's exactly bypasses it. So a bypass it means, it doesn't mean that it crossing that DLP, it means that it's not hitting that point. Means if you are highly confidential, that both should be triggered, then it will be highly confidential. When it's lower, like the lowest confidential, it means it should minimum should be 1, like minimum should 1 should trigger, then it will give you the alert that okay, something related to this has been triggered. And if it's a medium, then it's an average kind of. They set the DLP into high confidentiality, thinking that it's a highly priority matter that our main recipe should not be shared. So they put it on the highly confidential. What it makes that if all the data has been there in that particular email body or the attachment, then it's triggered. But if only few parts or few information has been there, then it never triggers out, or they never get notification like some information like that has been shared to another outside of the organization. So that's
Okay.
the major difference
Alright.
I figure out.
Great. Basis what you have informed, I went ahead and created the DLP policy. Okay? Basically focusing on exchange. I created that policy. Now, one of the things I've noticed, even though I have configured the DLP policies with the policy tips, I see that most of the time users are ignoring, or rather they go ahead and still try to perform that action. I want to stop that. Is there a way through which they can see a certain sort of a dialog box, or rather a pop-up that will appear onto their screen as soon as the policy matches, or they are going to perform that action? Is there a certain way through which we can do that within the DLP policy?
You mean that even after creating the DLP policy, it's triggering, but the users are not following that DLP, like
Right. So
the notifications.
So as an admin of this org, I went ahead and then sent in the email. I've informed them how it works, but then still, sometimes depending upon how the users are working, they sometimes tend to ignore those steps. I just want to find a way, if there is a possibility that some sort of pop-up can be configured that will show them, right? It's right on their face. Unless they address it, it wouldn't go away, right? So that will trigger them to actually go ahead and read it, see it, and then perform the action. Is there a possibility that we can configure it somehow?
Well, while creating the DLP policies, there are few options comes of like enforcing it or with different options. I'm not sure about it. Like if we can do like this, even we can. I really don't know. Like we can enforce it, but if you want that users should be tapping into it, and like it's come up like a pop-up, and they go through it and then do it, then
Okay,
I
no
don't
problem.
know.
Alright. So, what happened after I created this policy, right? Few of the users came to me and then they said they did send the email, but they did not get the policy done. What would be your approach to troubleshoot in such scenarios?
Can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
Sure, absolutely. So, after I created the policy, it was deployed. I waited for a few weeks. Now, or it is deployed to all the users. Two of the users come up to me and then they say that they never got the policy tip, right? While they were trying to send this information from be that the Outlook client or Outlook web access, they weren't getting the policy tip. In this situation, what should be my approach to troubleshoot this?
Okay, so these two users are the only users who are not getting that policy tip, or like
Yeah.
okay, so
Only two users are not getting it.
okay, then first we will check the DLP policies, like the location where it exactly been applied. If there is any exceptions, or like we need to check if it's applied to any group or particular users or something. If the user is still
So if you are getting at whether or not these users are spoke, they can check that.
okay.
I also went ahead and checked their, so they majorly use Outlook client, but I had them log on to their Outlook web access. That's where I was seeing. So now let's just focus only on Outlook client. If the tips are not available, is there a way, or what should I do?
And you
If the tips are not working.
okay, and you checked on the web application, sorry, Outlook on the web, that it's also not working over there too.
No, that's where it's working. Outlook client is where the problem is.
Okay, on the web it's working, but on the client it's not working. Policy is enabled, but it's not working. What exactly they are using? Is it the new Outlook or the classic Outlook, like the old one?
Yeah, 2016.
Okay. First, I will go ahead and try with the. Okay, if only policies. Is there any other policies which is not been triggered for their Outlook applications?
This is the very first time we have gotten the license for DLP, right? So this is the very first pilot policy that I have deployed, and this is for a few set of users, somewhere around 100. And out of those 100, I've just got an issue with these two. So I just have one policy to answer your question. Okay, no problem. Moving on. All right. So one more thing I wanted within this call again. See, I have various workloads, right? I have Exchange, I have SharePoint, Teams, so on and so forth. Within the Office 365 estate, I want to know which all data is actually available, right? So I will have a visibility on all the data, and no data should be in dark, right? Is there a way I can configure it or find out that, okay, every data which is there, that is mapped, how are tagged? How do I do that? Is there any feature available within Purview or compliance that I can use to map the entire data?
To map the entire data. I can't remember though.
Okay. Now, what do you understand by sensitivity labels?
Sensitivity labels are basically tags, kind of, through which we can do it, like we can manage the confidentiality and what exactly should be applied or labeled while transferring, while sharing that information. For an example, let's suppose I made a label highly confidential for the any keyword which matches my food ingredients. Let's suppose my food for the food pizza, the ingredients are toppings like tomatoes, capsicum, or anything, and I go on the Office, like the Word application, and I try to write any any word, like in the entire paragraph I mentioned something which is related to that my ingredients, then after auto saving it will apply the labels like highly sensitive, highly confidential, or like not confidential, and according to that. So sensitivity labels will help to maintain that data into that range, like is it highly confidential or not confidential or something like that. So from there we can create that labels. It like kind of AIP? No.
Not AI, but auto labeling.
Sorry?
Auto labeling. I think you're referring to auto labeling policy.
Yeah, auto label policies. How
Okay.
to enable the auto label policies, right?
No. Okay, so coming back to the previous question, when I said that if I want to map everything, now the question here is, does the label only provide the flexibility or rather the feature to apply restriction? Can I use that to actually apply a single label to all the data that I have? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, through basically there is an option called auto label policy. Through there we can do that thing. Like it automatically checks the labels, like if there are different labels we created, and oh yeah, that's the right question. Okay, financial, if like suppose financial data or food ingredients data or something different. So through auto labeling, it will automatically label that particular data according to the confidentiality.
Okay, good. Right. Now, okay, this is an open book question, right? My requirement here is, again, same financial firm. I have made some students, now for few users, they are able to share the data externally. But one thing I want is for the user who is going to receive, or rather the recipient should not be able to print it. Is there a way I can add that restriction? If so, how can I do that?
Not able to print, right?
Yeah, so the recipient should not be able to print that document or the content. How do I do that?
Through AIP we can do that. Like exactly I don't remember the other features, but yeah, I remember one of the certain situation where we can't forward the email, like we want to restrict that recipient should not be able to forward the email. When we set the conditions, like to the users, like the selected users, what they can do or the recipients can do or can't do, in the when we select the permissions, I think like there was the option
so remember,
to print.
We are sure this is an open book. You can, if you have access to your tenant, you can open it, show me. That's absolutely fine, right? Understand. The idea here is to understand what do you know about the entire purview portal, right? That's the whole idea. So don't worry about it. Yeah, absolutely. Share your screen, show me.
Let me know once it's visible.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, that should do it. Okay, close this, and then okay, there's this thing which is I'm saying here: assign permission now or let user decide. So if you click on that drop down, What is the difference between these two?
Okay, the assign permission now, like it will start like once the label is been finished, it will start automatically, like enable right now. But once we will go and select the user assign permission, so whenever they see that particular situation, they can manually assign that particular label. Means.
Okay, got it. Moving on to the next question. This is, so one of the user came to me and then he said that a specific email is missing, right? What are all the options? So he looked through the folder where it is supposed to be. What are the options available for me as an admin without having the need to reach the user? I can find the email. Show me into the portal, what will you? So I'm the user, I came to you and said, okay, buddy, let me know, where's this email? How can I find it?
E-discovery. I mean,
Okay.
we can simply go on e-discovery, and if we are finding that particular email, then we can do the content search too, and or
Okay.
do the classic e-discovery too. Oops.
Mhm.
So majorly there is not too much of difference between content search and classic e-discovery, but under the e-discovery you need to create the case, and under the case you can manage or like manage the searches, like, but in the content search you directly create the search. So not
Okay,
too much
so
yeah.
the email that I want to find out, the subject of the email is FY25. It was Alex who sent that email to me, right? Very specific. Create a search.
Okay. So he's basically checking from the mailbox only.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Second kind of the user.
Let's suppose. What exactly keyword we are looking? Like the subject line.
FY25.
FY
25. 25.
Okay.
The sender was Alex.
Send
Alex
it.
and XYZ. Okay, I think that should do it.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, got it. Okay, one more question I have, which is, so I have my finance team and I have my research team, right? I do not want them to communicate between each other. Is there a way that I can configure it?
Two different
They shouldn't be able
departments.
to. So within teams, I do not want them to find. So the research team should not be able to find people from the finance team, and finance team should not be to the research team. Do you have some sort of feature available within Purview that can help in this?
Yeah, like this sort of thing, same I've done, but I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Okay. Have you worked on information barrier?
Like it's been a long time, but
Okay. Do you know what do we mean when we say the word segment within information barrier? What does it mean? Do you remember? I think it's been a while. You mentioned that you worked on this.
like it, I don't know how to explain this, but different segments is I don't know how to explain it. Like
Okay, no problem. Have you worked on DLM, data lifecycle management?
yep.
You have. Okay. All right. So, okay. So, what is the difference between retention tags and retention label? Why do we need these two separate?
Okay, retention tags are for okay, they let me explain in such a way. Retention tags are three types: default, retention policy tag, and personal tags. Basically, retention means reserving or retaining the data for a particular time period, or deleting the data after that time period, or like we can control that thing. But when we are creating a retention tag, it's classified into three different forms. So in the default retention tag, you can retrieve the data, directly delete, or after deleting you can recover it too. But it will be applicable in the entire mailbox. Sorry, not mailbox. Yeah, entire mailbox. The retention policy tags, there you can't. You can retrieve and delete and retrieve. Like you can delete and recover, and then you can delete. In personal tags, the actions are similar as the default tag, but it only acts on the custom folders in the mailbox. And in the retention policy tags, it will act on the default folders like inbox, sent, or something like that, like the default folders in the mailbox. But when we are creating retention labels, it will act on the entire tenant. Like
You're saying retention label will act on entire tenant? Could you please explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, when we're creating retention labels, so see, like, can I show you here?
Sure.
So,
Absolutely.
So when we create the retention label, we can simply see that what kind of label we want to create under what particular location. Like, is it a like SharePoint, Teams, or Exchange mailbox? Like, we get the location that where we exactly want to apply it. But when we go in the retention tags, we never get the location because it's already applied under the mailbox. So retention labels are can be like applied in the entire tenant in that way.
Okay. So you mean different workload and it is unified. So it covers multiple workloads and it can be published to different workloads.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay. All right. Now, I have a question. So one of the users came up to me and said, I have created, so I have multiple PSTs that I have imported into my mailbox. And then I have a retention tag for inbox, which is 30 days moved to archive. And then there are different for the custom folder as well. I have created a retention tag which moves the item to deleted items within 30 days. And then so the user comes up to me and says that when I go and move the item from okay, so the issue is items are in the deleted items folder, okay, and then when I restore it to the backup folder that I have created within the mailbox, within few hours it moves it back to the deleted item folder. What could be the reason? And in effort to find what could be happening, I also need a way through which I can retain these emails. I tried that multiple times, but it keeps on moving. So what could be happening?
In that situation, like basically if we need to check the retention tag which exactly acting. If the data is again back to the deleted folder again and again after a certain time period, then we need to check the retention tag, and after that to retrieve that obviously we can use the e-discovery or the content search to retrieve that particular.
No, I can still see the email within the deleted. So we go to deleted item, there is recovered deleted item. That's where I see it. I still see it. Okay.
But
so I have access to it. The problem is every time I move it back to the backup folder where it's supposed to be, within few hours it moves it back to the recovered deleted item. I'm not talking about the recoverable items folder. I'm talking about recovered deleted item.
Okay. Now, is it only happening in Outlook application or like in the OVA it's happening the same situation?
It's consistent for platforms.
For both of them. Okay. Okay. We recovered the deleted folder, then again we created the deleted folder. Is there any mailbox rule?
There is no mailbox rule, or rather inbox rule if you're referring. And I have not created any ETRs.
Okay.
So remember what I said previously, right? I have a few RPTs which has a certain timeline, right? And this is applied to the custom folders. Think along those lines.
We need to check that the personal tags, like personal retention tags.
Why would I check personal tag? I haven't created it. I said that there is RPT that I have created. That RPT is, let's say I have applied it to the custom folder, right? For 30 days. Okay, so let's say I've understood that, okay, probably there's a problem with the RPT, and then the way I've configured it, that's it's supposed to be how it is going to work. Now I have identified that my RPT is saying, okay, 30 days, move it to deleted, that's happening. Now, when I open the email, on the top I see that, okay, the item is expired, okay? Now, regardless of what I do, even if I go and move the email back to the backup folder, it will end up getting back into the deleted items folder, right? Or recovered deleted items folder. Okay? What can I do? Okay, think about retention, the very first question that I asked, right? Retention tags, labels, what do they do?
retain that data.
Okay, moving on to the next question. So let's say I have multiple auto labeling policy or retention labels, right? We're still on that subject. Multiple retention label policies, one of them is applied. I have other one as well that matches the same condition. Which one should be applied differently?
Like you have multiple auto labeling policies.
Policy for retention label. And then I'm not understanding as to I have created three. Will it apply both of them to the same email?
No, like one would be applied, but which one?
Are you guessing or
No.
there's a logical explanation to it?
No, like I'm just trying to evaluating it's like obviously both can't be applied, but one will be applied. But the reason is if one will be applied, then which one? The question states that.
Right, so this is what?
So which one? Auto labeling is basically applied automatically, like we don't need to do manual, but when it comes label,
Okay, another question on that. So let's say I have a folder within my primary IPM subject, okay? And then I went ahead and added the retention label to the entire folder. The similar folder is in archive, okay? Now, the question is, would that label also be applied to the folder which is in archive?
applied to
Does
the
that extend? Yeah. So would that label that I have applied to the folder which is in the primary IPM subtree, would that also extend to the archive labels of the same user?
what label? I don't know.
Okay. All right. So I created an RPT, right? And the RPT for my inbox. Okay. My RPT says move the item to archive within 30 days. I now I see there are items older than 30 days in the inbox folder. Why are the emails not?
Okay, you created the
So what
RPT.
would be the approach here to troubleshoot this?
Enable. It's not working.
Okay, remember this particular scenario is basis the answer that you've given earlier. So yes, you already know the answer to it. You just need to pay a little bit of attention. You'll get there. So again, I'm going to repeat the question. This is, I created an RPT, I've applied to the folder, I run MFA, the emails are not moving to archive.
That label is custom.
Okay, no problem. I have one last question here, okay? Then we'll go with the other subject. Okay, so the question is, if I go and apply the code, a unified retention code, right? I have covered what? My SharePoint, I have my Teams, Exchange, right? Once the code is applied, where is this data stored? Right?
Okay.
If the action is performed on it, or the items which are subject to the code, but instantly is that data saved for robots. Each one, for Exchange, where SharePoint, where exactly are we looking at? Be that be Teams or Viva, where exactly are we?
SharePoint.
No, these are the workloads.
Acha. Okay, where the
Okay.
data will hold data.
Yeah, so within SharePoint, where exactly am I looking to find that data? If I have applied the, let's say, unified attention.
I don't know. Can't remember.
Alright, how about, okay, so if I go and apply a litigation code within this is specific to Exchange, and if an action is performed, where exactly that data? So if any changes are made, or rather if I'm trying to, as a user, try to delete that data, or modify that data, which folders are we talking about where I can find that data? Within the mailbox.
I don't know.
No problem. Okay. So let's say if I have a specific folder on which I want to conduct a search, a specific folder. Okay. Can I run a search for that, or just for a specific folder within a single mailbox?
Yes, we can run that. We can run the search query like for the single mailbox.
Not a single. Okay, so I have the mailbox, right?
Uh-huh.
I have the mailbox called alex@xyz.com. I have added that. But then Alex, this mailbox has about, let's say, 20-30 folders there. I don't want to search the entire data. I want to specifically focus on one of the custom folder that he has created.
We can
So
do,
if I want to,
we can, if we are in OA or specifically Outlook, then when we go on the search, we can actually custom searches for the specific folders. Like we can select the specific folders even
now this is a VVIP user, okay? I cannot reach out to him directly. They wouldn't be giving me any access.
Okay.
As an admin, what all tools are at my disposal to run this search and give him the data?
We can do the like we can try the content search for that specific folder.
Content search, but then how do I focus that to a specific folder?
Is it a custom folder or a default folder?
Okay, let's say it's a default.
If it's a default, if it's a default folder, then like
so I have a folder called RSS feed. I get a lot of data there, and I want to find specifically about the RSS feed folder. I don't want to search for entire mailbox. Maybe I can user. I cannot directly go ahead and do that. I only have authorization for a single folder.
Yeah, regarding that thing, if we are specifically finding the data of a particular folder, then
okay, let's do this exercise. You have your Google search at your disposal. Search it. Let's see what can be for you.
we can use audit search.
Okay, all right, no problem. I think that's about it. Priyanshu. Those are all the questions that I had. Do you have any questions for me?
That question, like, I didn't get what exactly I was like when you asked, like, you applied the RPT and it's going back to the recoverable deleted item folder. So
Okay,
how
so
was
see,
this?
right at the beginning I said, RPT I have applied to the folder. It has, the timeline is set to 30 days, right? The items I mentioned that are already expired. So, if items are expired, the next time MFA runs on the default, it will obviously go ahead and find that those are expired items and move it back to the recovered deleted item. Okay? Now, the follow-up questions on that was, how do I get to move this item and have them retained into the folder where I want them to? This is where your retention label comes into picture. You will publish a label where once you move the item, once it is there, you change that label, apply that label to the item, and then that item will have a longer time, right? You define that into the label setting. So, for example, I'll say that I'll create a label which is that to never delete. Okay, I'll put that, apply that to the email, keep the email.
Okay. So through that label, we make sure that that
Right.
data should not be deleted for
Exactly.
that time period.
Correct. See, you were almost there. You knew it. Anyway, okay, so yeah, any other question that you may have?
No, that's all.
Okay, great. Abhishek, do you have any questions for Priyanshu?
Nothing more. All good. Sure.
Okay, great. Priyanshu, thank you so much for your time today. We'll be getting back to you. And you have a good day.
Cool. Thanks, Anuj. Have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you. All right, take care. Bye-bye.